We are here at the Camp Curtin Memorial Mitchell United Methodist Church in the Camp Curtin area of Harrisburg to celebrate today, which is the United Way Day of Caring. As we speak, hundreds of high school students from around central Pennsylvania have gathered on City Island and are engaged in a monumental service project of their own to clean the island. And when we're done here, we're going to go over to the island, thank them, and sort of monitor their work. That spirit of service and volunteerism is going to be the key to Harrisburg's renaissance. It's the key to making the city great again. And as we look towards the future, I think it's important to reflect back on the past, because that spirit of volunteerism really began right here, from Harrisburg's standpoint, during the Civil War in Camp Curtin, where hundreds of thousands of young volunteers, pretty much the same age as those kids over on City Island, came to Harrisburg, to Camp Curtin, to volunteer, to enlist, to fight in the Civil War. And after the Civil War, well, during the Civil War, they came back here sometimes when it was a hospital, but after the Civil War, they came back 150 years ago, basically, to be discharged. And many kept returning to Harrisburg and saw Camp Curtin as a fitting place for a memorial. And that led, in 1890, to the building of the original church. And the original portion of the church is the back half there. It was constructed in 1890. And then about 100 years ago, in 1915, there was a capital campaign to expand the church and to establish this area officially as a memorial. And we've got Governor Curtin there. The bell tower, which sort of rose up from the ground, was really the only structure of its type at that time. During the Civil War, there was very little construction north of McClay Street at all in the city of Harrisburg. By 1915, there was also very little construction between, say, 6th and 7th Street. If you went north on 6th and 7th Street, basically no houses. I brought a photo that came into the bookstore the other day of the one house here on the corner of Seneca and Curtin, and one other house during the block down. And you can see that this area, even at the turn of the century, was mostly rolling pasture land. You can imagine cows, you can imagine chickens. But as those soldiers came back after the war, they began to look at Harrisburg as a place where maybe they'd like to live and grow and develop. And from 1900 to 1915, Harrisburg's population took off, getting to the high point of 90,000, almost 100,000 residents. And all of these homes that go all along 6th Street were built during that period and were a part of Harrisburg's population growth. And it's that growth that we'd like to see and capture again. The city is about half of the housing capacity that it once was, but we can do it again. So 100 years ago, there was a glassmaker named C. Rudy, and he had a factory down on 3rd and Minnick at 1841 North 3rd Street, which is now the new glass factory condominiums. And you can imagine him there hard at work on some of his finest stained glass creations, some of which are in this church, one of which represents Christ comforting a wounded soldier. It's an absolutely beautiful masterpiece of stained glass. I can see Rudy working on it. I can see him carefully bringing his supplies and materials up here to the church. The glass factory is sort of a symbol of that residential new rehab spirit in the city of Harrisburg. It's brought many new people to live in the city, just opening a few years ago. If you look up at the bell tower, you'll see some straps. And a few years ago, a survey was conducted as to what it would cost to secure the bell tower, repoint, basically reset the stone, and make it not only safe, but do the repairs in a historically appropriate way. Some emergency repairs were made, but we'd like to replace those emergency repairs with a permanent repair. And the church, 100 years after it started the last capital campaign to build the memorial, is now starting a new capital campaign to raise money to fix that tower. And I wanted to draw attention to that campaign today, just as I wanted to draw attention to that spirit of service in our community. So if you will indulge me, they are kicking off the campaign officially tomorrow with a sold-out celebratory dinner. We're joined by Historic Harrisburg behind me, which has already pledged $2,000 to that campaign, but the call is for everyone from far and wide to help donate money to the campaign. I'd like to read a proclamation in honor of today and in honor of the church's campaign, which also stresses that this church is a central place in the community and a place of great service, both for youths, for the soup kitchen that will be starting to serve here very soon after this, for Narcotics Anonymous, for everything else. So we're calling today Strengthening the Tower Building for Tomorrow Day in the city of Harrisburg. Whereas Camp Curtin Memorial Mitchell United Methodist Church is an architectural landmark of the city of Harrisburg and is a monument to religion, patriotism, and volunteerism. And whereas Camp Curtin Memorial Mitchell United Methodist Church is located on the historic site as a memorial to Camp Curtin, the largest federal military camp of the Civil War, and was placed on the National Registry of Historic Places on August 5th, 2010. And you can see that plaque there on the corner. And whereas Camp Curtin Memorial Mitchell United Methodist Church demonstrates a genuine care for the community it serves, as do others, as part of today's United Way Day of Caring. And whereas since 1988, the Camp Curtin Memorial Mitchell United Methodist Church Soup Kitchen has brought relief to the hungry by serving 1,600 meals monthly over the past 26 years. And whereas the Camp Curtin Memorial Mitchell United Methodist Narcotics Anonymous program provides meeting space Monday through Friday to those in need and in recovery. And whereas Camp Curtin Memorial Mitchell United Methodist Church is located along North 6th Street here in uptown Harrisburg, once a bustling commercial district, again in the future to be a bustling commercial district, but now a neighborhood in need of urban renewal, respite, and healing. And whereas Camp Curtin Memorial Mitchell United Methodist Church has launched a 3-year capital campaign today to raise $50,000 to do much needed maintenance, restore the main tower, and repay a debt to the conference used to repair the roof, which already has been repaired and is in good order. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Eric Pappenfuss, Mayor of the City of Harrisburg, do hereby call this day, April 24, 2015, Strengthening the Tower, Building for Tomorrow Day in the City of Harrisburg, and congratulations. Well done. Now, as I say in a moment, we're going to go over and we're going to see the youth of today. For one last minute, I want you to imagine the youth of 150 years ago that were here. And if you have any questions about the campaign, about the church, historic questions about Camp Curtin, we're joined by several very distinguished historians of Harrisburg. We would be happy to take them.
Is part of the campaign just to fix the tower or to do renovations to the entire church?
Well, I'm going to let you, yes. Okay. Introduce yourself.
The campaign, John Kurtz, the pastor. The campaign is focused on not restoring the tower completely, but just making the tower safe. Our engineers tell us that structurally the tower is in good, it just is a good foundation, and it has integrity. But the stones around the top and the spire are what we're concerned about. That's a 90-foot drop, and we don't want, public safety is our issue. So it's just making the tower safe. And the cost is $200,000. What we're hoping to do is just to raise some seed money, and hopefully we can draw money from other sources as well.
Pastor Kurtz and Susan Rhonda Mays came to my office to explain the project. I've seen photos up there. I mean, there is quite a impressive series of cables and everything holding it all together. But that's just a temporary patch. That's a temporary fix to keep it safe in the meantime while we do the real repairs.